Agatha All Along brews up solid premiere. Audience as first episode nets 9.3 million views in 7 days. The Penguin opens to 5.3 million viewers across platform in 4 days. But let's go ahead and get into this first topic of the day, talking Agatha. Agatha All Along. Elliot, I believe you were blessed with the first 4 episodes of this series. Is that true, sir? Is that true?
No, unfortunately, Disney left your boy off the screener list this time around. So I'm enjoying it week to week like everyone else. So no, unfortunately, I didn't get Miss Agatha this time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just knew you was going to say the opposite, man. So my bad. Okay.
Hey, I was just surprised as you was, but it's all good. It's all good.
Oh man. Well, are you enjoying the show so far? Let me ask you that.
Yeah, it's a breezy, easy, lightweight show. I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm not biting at the bits every week, but it's a fun time with these characters that are pretty entertaining for the most part.
I got you, man. I'm enjoying it myself. I really did like episode 3. And I went in with very, very low expectations, but apparently, a lot of people are liking the show. Or is this smoke and mirrors?
Yeah,
this is topic number 1 coming from Deadline. And it says, Agatha All Along brews up solid premiere. Audience as first episode nets 9.3 million views in 7 days, Disney says. Let's go ahead and get into this. Agatha Harkness has bewitched a promising Disney Plus audience in her titular series premiere week at 9.3 million views in the first 7 days, according to the Walt Disney Company. Disney, like Netflix, defines views as total stream time divided by runtime. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and read this entire article below, you can. Link is in the description. But the reason why I started this discussion off from saying, Elliot, is this possible smoke and mirrors, is because there is no set metric on how they measure these views and shows and on a certain amount of days. Sometimes we may get a headline where it says this show made this amount of views in the first 10 days or the first 3 days or the first 5 days. So if that's the case, how are you able to really judge? How do you feel about that? And just in general, 9.3 million views in 7 days. That's still nothing to, gawk at. So, where are you at on that?
Yeah, it is very interesting to follow Disney and Netflix of when they choose to release these numbers and when they don't release the numbers. And I think I saw some article that talked about how it compared to like the Acolyte. It came in a little bit less than the Acolyte, but I think it had higher viewership than some like Low Key and Echo and a couple other more recent series. So it's definitely a victory. I just think at the end of the day, I would love to know the metric of like how many subscribers that they've gained as far as like out of the 100 million that they have, 9.3 watch. So I'm just curious on like how many new subscribers watch the show, just to kind of get an idea of like if the show is bringing in new viewerships and new subscriptions. That's something I would kind of be interested in learning out. But other than that, like I said, 9.3, 9.2 isn't bad for a series that I don't think a lot of people were glamoring for. But people came out and supported Agatha, and hopefully we get a good payoff by the end of the 9th episode. So
hopefully we do. Yeah, hopefully we do, man. And just like you said, last October, the company said that Loki season 2 had racked up 10.9 million views in its first 3 days. So that's 10.9 compared to 9.3 in 3 days to 7. That's a crazy comparison right there. You really can't. Still good numbers, 9.3, I would assume. And I think the show is deserving. It's not a bad show. I still can't get excited because, our favorite show, Secret Invasion, it started out so great and ended so bad. And so, I just don't want to hold my breath, with any excitement or anticipation. But on top of that, Elliot, we also have this from Comic Book Resources, CBR, on the same topic. Agatha All Along finally begins to pay off a WandaVision fan theory. Man, when WandaVision came out, Elliot, I know I was at least
crazy.
one of them.
Different time.
different time. It was the first Disney Plus show. And we were clamoring for every little Easter egg, every little nugget. I mean, we were trying to break it down with all the theories, and like it was fun, man. It was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And we really thought that Mephisto was gonna, pop up somewhere. Like, oh, he's behind the bush. There he is. I see him. You see the red? It was crazy. It was crazy. But we finally got a name drop. Finally in the MCU in episode 3. What did you think? Is this just a tease, or is he right around the corner? What do you think about this name drop of Mephisto?
It can go one of two ways. One is the show could be trolling the fans, because obviously, like you just mentioned, that was the show that initiated the Mephisto. Like, no one was a Mephisto fan or like cared about Mephisto prior to. I won't say no one, but it wasn't like a household name as it is now, 3 years later. But it could be them trolling just to kind of pay off, like, oh, y'all remember this, or it could have a payoff. They could pay it off. Maybe they'll bring Mephisto and Ralph Bohner back into the mix and have them be big surprises. But we'll see, because, I mean, everything's lining up to have Mephisto finally appear. I know there's been rumblings that he might be popping up in the Ironheart series with Sacha Baron Cohen in the role. And it only kind of makes sense that you would introduce him in this show that brought up the theorist in WandaVision, and now this. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm leaning more towards them trolling us, but I would be pretty surprised if they actually do bring Mephisto into the mix.
Yeah, hopefully he does come into the mix, because one of the things that got me excited about this Agatha All Along show is, for one, I do like the actress, Katherine Hahn. Yeah. Whether you like the show or not, I just think that she's doing a really good job objectively, but you can still be subjective with your opinion. So she's knocking that out the park. Another thing is, I wanted to get in more in the lore of the realm of magic and mysticism. Even though the execution hasn't been the greatest in the MCU, and I know you feel that way, correct me if I'm wrong, but Doctor Strange, the character, is still cool, And then you have WandaVision or Wanda, and then you have Agatha. It's like, okay, hell yeah, this is more magic. I want to see this, and more Dormammu and Nightmare. And hey, Mephisto as well. Hey, great. This is perfect. It's probably best that we didn't get to see Mephisto in WandaVision. So they're just not throwing so much at us at one time. We still don't even have him yet. It's just a name drop. We may not see Mephisto until Doctor Strange 3 or 4 or season 2 of Agatha All Along. But I like the direction this is going. And it does get me excited a little bit, but I'm still trying to tailor those expectations. And so the theory can go a million different ways. In this article, they do break down theirs. But what is your thoughts in the comment section below, guys? Let us know. I know I definitely want to know how you feel about this, as far as, Mephisto name being dropped, and also the amount of views that WandaVision is, not WandaVision, but Agatha All Along is getting in its first few days. Elliot, we got to talk about the Penguin. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So Agatha All Along was doing fantastic in its debut. And it seemed like, DC is getting some of that love too. And I love it, man. I think this is the tide rises all ships type of things, man, that was a great comic book show. I wish there was something else I could watch. Hey, there's another comic book show over at this studio that's knocking it out the park too. Either way you look at that, that's great in my opinion. This is coming from Variety. For the next topic, The Penguin opens to 5.3 million viewers across platform in 4 days. Mind you, we just talked about 7 days. And so The Penguin is an ice cold hit. Per HBO, the spinoff series starring Colin Farrell and Christina Milioti opened to 5.3 million U.S. viewers across all platforms since its debut on September 19th. That includes repeat airings on HBO as well as streaming viewership. That puts it above the final season premiere of Succession, which drew 4.9 million viewers. And I think Elliot covered that. And the second season premiere of The White Lotus, I think you covered that too, which drew 4.1 million. It also falls just behind the premiere of True Detective Night Country, which nabbed 5.7 viewers. Elliot, guys, if you didn't know, Elliot is a HBO expert. He covers all HBO for the most part. That Apple, pretty much anything. That's why you need to subscribe. Elliot, man, how you feeling about the Penguin start off? I saw in your other video, which Elliot has his own breakdown video of all these DC comic characters news as of late. I think he talked about this too. So how you and I don't think you've seen episode 2 or 3 of the Penguin yet. Maybe, but you was recording earlier. But let me go ahead and get to my point. Anyway, Elliot, how you feeling about the show Penguin in general and the start? How you feeling about these numbers? And since you did cover those other HBO shows, how does this compare to those as well?
Yeah, I mean, this is just from just looking at the Penguin as its own entity compared to other HBO series. Like, it's another show kind of similar to Agatha that a lot of people were initially kind of like on the fence. Like, Colin was great in the movie, but does he need his own solo show? And then as the show got closer and closer to the release date, no Batman appearance. So it was just like, what is the appetite for a Penguin show? And, relatively speaking, compared to like Disney Plus, HBO's, I want to say, a niche streaming platform, but it doesn't have like, you can't have your kids watching HBO shows, and teenagers. It's mostly like more adult content. So to have those type of numbers for a supporting character is pretty great for the series. So I think the numbers represent the interest in the show. That represents a character that people are fond of, and I'm very excited to see as the weeks go by, the word of mouth and the numbers continue to grow up. And I think in that article you might have pulled up, I think it had similar or higher numbers than The Last of Us, which was a hit show for HBO. So again, a rated R series, a very, not as a familiar character for a lot of people that's not familiar with the Batman lore, to have those numbers is pretty huge. And I'm very curious to see what tomorrow's numbers, as we're recording this, what episode 2 numbers are looking like, if more people will be brought in, if it's going to be about the same, or if it goes lower. But I don't see it going lower because it's a fantastic show. And I think the word of mouth has been pretty good on the show so far. So shout out to Oz.
Yes, agreed. And as you said, additionally, the show has landed the biggest 4-day audience for a new series on Max in every region globally since The Last of Us in January of 2023. So that is what's up right there, man. This is amazing. And I got to be honest with you, Elliot. I was not a fan of this separate Batman universe that Matt Reeves created. And, I may have to put my foot in my mouth or whatever, because this show is good. And I know when the announcement came out that Batman would not be showing up in the series, I know some people were disappointed. I really didn't care because the show hadn't premiered at that time, and I didn't know how good it was because I'm loving the show. At this point in time, I've seen 3.5 episodes. So I'm in the middle of episode 4. And I don't need Batman to show up. I don't. If he doesn't show up at all, this show will still be great, and I will still be highly entertained by this. And so it's just great. The show has found plenty of love with critics, with the Penguin currently holding a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. A masterful examination of criminality. The show is twisted, disturbing, and deeply enthralling. That is from a review from Variety. This is great, man. And this is just, and like I said, the each episode, it gets better and better. And I like how, well, it's not a spoiler, but you're really getting to know each character, besides the Penguin, and you'll see that as the show progresses. I'll just say that, and so, it's all around great show. So yeah, guys, full article is in the description box below. For you all to read at your own leisure, and let us know your thoughts in that comment section below. We're dying to hear all your thoughts. We are dying to hear all of your thoughts.